Hello, skipper. Hello, navigator. Half a minute to go. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Baboon Yodel on another day of the podcast without Renee. Renee is not here again. Everybody, thank you for joining us again and listening to our podcast, downloading it, and wasting your time. You could have been doing so many things which are a lot better than what you're doing right now, but thank you for joining in. Today is a great day because it's a great day in history. Today, great things happened in history. In 1939, Franklin D. Roosevelt declared neutrality at the start of World War II in Europe. When asked about his decision in the face of Adolf Hitler's atrocities, he replied, "Hitler who?" To which the journalist said, "Fascist dictator of Germany." FDR replies, "Oh, that chap. Yeah, I love his movies." So let me introduce to you our other guests today. Heta Big Balls, that's what his name on my Zencaster page. So Heta Dawson, how's it going, boy?
Kia ora, motherfuckers. I'm back to give my opinions and have a bit of a laugh with the boys again. So it's good to be back.
Good to be back. What's up, swinger, big nut swinger? Corin Healy is also on the line. How's it going, Corin?
Hey mate, very good, thank you. I'm a bit tired. I've been out in the backyard hammering my deck all afternoon. I had to stop because the neighbours will start complaining.
All right, that's what my dad hammered my deck when I was 7 days old, and now I don't have part of my deck.
My Kiwi accent may come across a bit weird for some people there. I wasn't saying dick, I was saying dick.
Yeah, it's that wooden thing outside the house, right?
Yes, yeah.
All right, that's good. Well, what's the purpose of it?
The deck, or hammering it.
No, the deck, the actual deck. Well, why do we have that deck?
I think the house is a little bit elevated, so instead of having steps right out of the house onto the ground, you have this sort of like decking area where you can sunbathe topless and stuff like that.
And you can deck other people.
You can brag about the size of your dick.
Okay. That's a very Kiwi joke, right? I mean, somebody made an ad about it as well.
Yes,
Some deck cleaner.
Yeah.
So it's been it's good to have you guys here. I don't know what Renee is up to, but I'll message her and find out. But she has been quite busy, so we miss her, and hopefully she comes back soon. Until then, I have to make use of big balls and big nuts. That's what the level of this podcast at the moment. So. Well, at the same time that the Franklin D. Roosevelt thing happened, at the same time, New Zealand also did something. New Zealand Prime Minister and famous rapper Michael Joseph Savage declared New Zealand's support for Britain in the war with Germany.
Wow.
Savage famously told the nation, "Where she goes, we go. Where she stand, we stand." And then he followed by saying, "Oh shit, shake that ass, smile, move it like a gypsy. Stop, wow, back it up. Now let me see your hips." He became quite famous for that.
I love that song.
So yeah, some history for you from right at the start. I mean, this is something that the Bugle podcast did, and I find it quite funny. Just talking about some history right at the top, and there you go.
It's amazing about America, though, when they just didn't want to get involved until they got attacked. And they were like, shit, we got attacked. We're in now. We're going to do this. And it was crazy how much like they had churned out in terms of the war machine. They turned all their factories into tank and, army making stuff. That was crazy.
Yeah, right away. As soon as somebody attacked Hawaii, they were like, holy shit. These guys mean business, and then they changed everything. I mean, it was the turning point later on when everybody started winning the war. So it was kind of Americans who kind of helped everyone to win the bloody war.
And they were like, "How dare you try and occupy the islands that we're occupying? How dare you?"
That's true, and I mean, our famous rapper and Prime Minister Michael Joseph Savage, he was like right on board with the war right from the start. He even wrote a song, as I said before. So,
Wrote a song.
yeah. So That has been fantastic. How's life going, boys? Heta, how's life?
First, boys, I just want to thanks for the history lesson on World War Two, and I hope we talk about today, though. Right, today in history.
Oh yeah. We'll
Yeah.
go. We'll talk about what's been happening recently in our lives and the world. That's the focus. Who cares about shit history?
That's
Nobody
right.
cares.
That's right. Well, last week I talked about getting on the train and seeing if it turns into a fight train. And I'm disappointed to tell the listeners everybody was wearing a mask. There was no fighting. I took that train all week, expecting people to fight, but they weren't. They were complying, and I'm disappointed and happy at the same time.
Yeah, that was supposed to be your entertainment during your long
That's
commute.
right.
He had
And-
the phone ready to record some videos.
Yeah.
Some Fight Club.
And depending how big they were, I was ready to jump in and start, but no trouble was having. There was a couple of times where people let their mask slip down under their nose, and I just gave them a little bit of, huh? And then they, and they
You-
jumped straight up.
you gave them a look saying, you're breaking the treaty now, and they were like, oh shit.
You're breathing my air. Get out of there.
I took out my copy of the treaty and waved in their face, and straight away, zip.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Nobody was fighting for their rights.
No,
All right.
not one single protester on there. But if you are on the train and you weren't wearing a mask, you stood out like dog balls.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like you get the eyes of everyone. Everybody just looks at you like, you mother asshole.
I'm sure they get mobbed day. If someone did that on the train, I'd just be like, nah, you're going to chuck you off this train between the stations.
100% hit rate. And I was asking around other people taking public transport. It was the same when they were on trains and on buses. And of course, there was cops there, but the cops, there was a really low presence there. They just kind of walked the platform.
Did you find that as soon as people got off the train and down the street, they were taking their masks off, or they're keeping them on as far as you could see?
Well, when I got off the train, I still had my mask on when I entered into the city, and a lot of the other commuters there, they still had it on, and I felt, I felt that I needed to keep it on until one of them took it off.
You go to Britomart, don't you? So it's quite a busy station. So it's pretty smart. Yeah.
You both are sheeple. How come you don't fight for your right to not do something?
Because I'm not.
It's like you gotta fight for your right to not wear a mask.
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. I know we all know that's ridiculous, and it is crazy.
It's because I'm not a motherfucker like those other guys. There's a big protest. Yeah. There's a big protest today. Wow.
Yeah, there was.
Today.
I saw pictures of it. I mean, it's not that huge. It's like 100 people, but it is weird. I mean, I saw a person, like a kid, who had a banner or a picture with Jacinda Ardern with the Hitler mustache.
What? I know, and that was terrible. That kid wouldn't even know who Jacinda Ardern is. I mean, Hitler.
Yeah, or Charlie Chaplin. So,
was there another protest today about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they'll do. I think the Billy TK boys are trying to ruffle some feathers in some idiots. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's crazy, and I feel like it's quite dangerous. We'll be talking about that soon as well. So keep your anger within you, safe and sound before it comes out.
Bottled all up inside me.
Yeah, but put that right in your deck. So. DECK. So, all right. So that's fantastic. So life has been good. Have the family not worried about, because it was announced that we will stay in level 2 for a couple of more weeks, and I breathed a sigh of relief. What about you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We had morning tea with some friends, 6 of us, and we kind of agreed that we were probably a little bit slack. It was like, we beat it. And so we kind of let our guard down. But now, coming back into this, level 2.5 and just coming out of lockdown, I think everyone's complying a little bit more and know that we can lose that sort of thing quite easily. So, there's a lot more washing of hands. And I went down to the mall today, and I was zapping every RQ code I could find.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just scanning each and every shit. But even if I'm not going inside, I just need to let them know that I passed through that shop. So
Walk
yeah.
past Peaches and Cream and like adult shop and just like does that one as well.
I'm going to put an RQ code on my door. You want to come and visit me? You make sure you fucking scan that shit.
I'll see if I can apply. If it's free, I can apply for my apartment and just put it outside.
It's a code.
I'm going to make my own, man, and then it'll come up. As soon as you scan a picture of me giving you the finger, will come up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, it's the thing is that people keep saying that we kind of lost it in the level 1 and we didn't give a shit, but I think the government the whole time was saying that this will come back, this will come back, kept saying that. I mean, everybody now is coming and saying, oh, the government forgot and the government didn't. The government really didn't forget. They every time Bloomfield kept saying that, listen, it will come back, but it did come back, but it didn't go that bad. So we did have two deaths yesterday. It was sad.
That was sad, yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of back on track.
Actually, I don't mind it being a level 2 for a bit longer because we've still got community cases coming out from that one cluster. So I think it's prudent just to stay vigilant for a bit longer until there's no cases.
That's the word.
Yeah, man.
Word.
Yeah, man. Prudent, vigilant.
Yeah.
Germany.
QR. Yeah. Totally.
QR. Yeah.
When you talk
assimilation, integration.
Yeah. When you talk about it coming back, you reminded me of an Eminem song where he goes, "Look who's back, back again."
Back again. That's the whitest lyric I've ever heard spoken from you.
That's the thing. That's the funny thing. I mean, there's thousands of hip hop artists, and who comes back? Eminem. Yeah, well, there you go. There's white boy. All right, let's talk about some news. Things have been happening, boys. Things have been happening. Listen, boys. I mean, today we are going to talk about the most important thing that is happening in the world. I mean, it's not the pandemic, it's not the Arab-Israeli conflict, it's not the civil war in Sudan, it's not even America shitting its pants. The most important thing in the world now is K-pop. K-pop. Listen, boys, the greatest band in the world, BTS, became the first all-Korean pop act to top the Billboard 100 singles chart with their new English track called Dynamite. Listen, this is big news. When BTS heard the news, they had tears. They had tears, boys. I had tears as well. I had tears. I didn't even cry when my favorite house chicken was beaten to death by the professional fighting chicken across the road. And also I didn't even cry when my ex-girlfriend, just to break up with me, had to leave to China, and I didn't cry then, but this time I cried, and the tears were of joy.
I got a question for you. There's like 7 of them or something like that. Is that right? There's
7 boys of varying hair colors, and they have toppled off their throne Phil Collins, Jimi Hendrix, Jay-Z. It's the Korean boys now, boys. It's the Korean boys.
I mean, it's going to be bittersweet because you're in that band. You're going to be like, we're amazing. We've got top the charts, but I've got to split this shit with 6 other people. You'd be like, damn it. If we just kicked one of these guys out, my ratio of income would go up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what. Each time somebody, some of their songs make a hit, they're like, how can I kill the 7th boy?
And what did he do? What was his contribution? You'd be like, no.
You think there's 7 of them, and then they all probably come from big families. You come from big families. We're talking about 1 million people they have to support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. They've got 25 children each and 6 wives.
I think what's best about K-pop is the K-pop fans, because they're doing some good in the world. Like, I remember it wasn't that long ago that they mobilized and booked out one of Trump's rallies, all the K-pop fans, and then nobody showed up because they
Yeah,
booked them ironically and not shown up. And I thought that was fantastic. And if any K-pop fans listening right now, I think you've got to keep on doing that kind of stuff. That's really good. That's good.
yeah. Keep on doing what you're doing because it's great music, it's great work, and I love it. I mean, BTS, which is short for Bangtan Sonyeontan, I think that's how you pronounce it,
Mm-hmm.
or Bulletproof Boy Scouts. That's a translation. And according to a member, according to the according to one of the members, J Hope, that's first name J, last name Hope.
Mm-hmm.
The name signifies the group's desire to block out stereotypes, criticisms, and the expectation that aim on adolescents like bullets.
Wow.
Right? You know,
Wow, that's
so
deep.
that they are bulletproof. That's freaking deep. I mean, the deepness goes into the song Dynamite. I mean, I gotta share the lyrics. Do you want me
Yeah,
to share
do
the
it, do
lyrics?
it.
Good. Go for it.
Listen. So part of the lyrics is shoes on, get up in the morn, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. King Kong, lick the drum, rolling on like Rolling Stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump on the top, LeBron, ding dong, call me on my phone, iced tea, and a game of ping pong. Listen. This is some
Fuck,
top heavy shit.
fuck.
It's deep, man. It's deep. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy for them. I'm really happy for them, and I'm happy for their fans. But I'm
They're
probably not.
fan.
I'm not so much a fan. But I think good on them. Good on them for doing their thing.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
the prime minister's pretty happy. I mean, he's quoted as saying, "Splendid feat." So he's over the moon.
He might have
it's, it's a splendid feat. And I'm not saying FWT, I'm saying FEAT,
Oh,
which
sorry.
is
I thought he had.
sexier.
I thought he was saying all 14 feet, all splendid. Love them all.
All the fate of these Korean boys. So,
Wow.
and he also said that it's a message of comfort.
Mhm.
The Korean boys are giving it to the world in the COVID-19 time. So I think good on them. I mean, I did not like K-pop initially, but then my wife listens to it all the time. So
You got no choice.
I have I have been dragged into it, but now I'm getting. I mean, I have Stockholm syndrome, so I love K-pop,
Really?
and it's fantastic. I mean, some of the songs are great. Some of the songs are stupid, but still great.
I mean,
And
I'm
but
gonna start seeing like an old person now, but I think that the peak of musical creativity was in the 90s. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's hip hop, rap, or grunge or anything else. I think there was that peak time in history that was after, it was a period after the Vietnam War. So there's vets who were people's parents going through hard times. You just had 1987, the big financial crisis going on. And I think the 90s was born out of pain and like the heroin crisis of North America and that kind of thing. And a lot of pain was going on there. And I don't know. I think there's been a period of, prosperity. So how good can music be right now without that period of pain?
yeah, you're right. You're right. It's insane. I mean, Macarena definitely came out of a lot of pain, and
There's an edge back there, Macarangas.
the 90s. I mean, that was the biggest song of the 90s, and man, that was so much pain. I mean, it talked about putting your hands on the head and then on your shoulders and then on your hips and then do a dance.
Yeah,
Listen,
outrageous.
hey,
Outrageous.
hey, Macarena, that was some painful lyrics. I mean,
And it was painful. Painful watching everyone do it. That's how fucking painful it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the nightclub at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it comes on. Everyone starts trying to do it, and it's like, oh, please stop, please stop, please stop.
yeah, it was a good time. I mean, for me, I think 70s was a good time. No,
Yeah, 70s was a good time. That was a good time.
70s was a good time for music, but I think I mean that's very American. So I mean the even the early 1900s was a great time for jazz and blues.
It was.
So That was, I mean, for New Zealand, what was a great time for New Zealand for music?
I think probably the
Mm,
70s and 80s was probably
yeah,
quite big in New
yeah.
Zealand.
Yeah. Um, I remember the song when I came to New Zealand, How Bizarre, and I was like, Jesus,
It was a great song.
Jesus, How Bizarre. That's a fantastic song. It's a deadpan hilarious song.
That was a good
You know, it's
song.
a yeah, I love that song.
Um,
And then
yeah, that's a good song. When we did our show for the comedy festival, I loved that song. Herbs and David Dobbin, "The Slides of Heaven." I
Yeah.
reckon that was quite a
yeah,
good song. I like that. I really like
yeah, I
that.
think it made you were saying it every show. Oh man, I love this song. I think it made you very emotional, I think. Did it?
I welled up and cried. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a great song."
I'm pretty sure you, when you were going home, you played it as well, and before you come into the show,
Yeah.
it was just on
Funny
your
shit.
lips every time.
Example just before masturbating as well. I mean, it gives you this heat. You gotta listen to that Dave Dobbins.
There's a build up, and it's got to be released, mate. It's got to be released.
Yeah,
It was a great
I mean,
song.
it was great. I mean, it was kind of like the soundtrack of our show. Da, 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 da. It was like one of those things that was like when it started, you're like, okay, we're into it. Let's do this shit.
Let's do a song now.
Yeah, I'm so emotional.
Um,
So
but
I've
I
never,
mean, I think about music and stuff and creativity, and I do wonder in the coming years, because obviously 2020 has been a pretty crappy year, and I think it's been pretty crap since, I don't know, maybe 2016, 2017 when US president came in. I do wonder in the next 5 to 10 years, will we see a massive sort of new trend in music like grunge was in the 90s? Will we see something else come out like in the next few years in a
well,
out of turmoil?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's quite possible, but if you look deep into it, the good music always comes out of cruelty and
Mm,
a bad time and dictatorships
mm,
and people being quashed under the indigenous people being quashed, black people being quashed, everybody
mm.
being quashed. So good music comes out of that. None of that quashing is happening right now. You're just sitting at home watching Netflix. So what kind
Yeah,
of emotion that you will have to
yeah.
write a great song?
Maybe there's gonna be a new wave of like North Korean pop, NK pop.
Yo, yeah, that will be way different than the South Korean pop.
It'll be
The
darker.
the NK pop would be insane. They'll be talking about death and slitting throats and shit. So that will be some crazy insane. That music from North Korea is gonna be the world's leading music. I'm sure of that.
It'll be like a version of Du Hast from Rammstein.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be the NK Blues.
NK Blues.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, but good on them. Good on them. Good K-pop. I'm not a fan, but I respect it, and I think it's cool what they're doing.
Yeah.
I've
But
never,
do
I
you know
never heard a song. I never heard one of their songs. I even never
you've
heard
never
it.
heard
No.
you gotta get into it, man. This is insane because they are quite happy songs, most of them, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. So
I'm going to do it.
K-pop, yeah, K-pop have got a lot of flack around the music. I mean, people have these things. I think people are just jealous that they would say things that there's no originality. Well, what kind of originality are you looking for? I mean, if you have you heard other songs from the U.S. coming out? You know, the Barbara Streisand. That all the lyrics are just Barbara Streisand. So that's quite creative. The Bible, if you see, and then they say that the Koreans have a lot of uh, the plastic surgery, but
Oh.
I mean that's a hypocritical thing to say by an American criticizing K-pop, saying they have a lot of plastic surgery. But they do. There's a problem with K-pop though. They do come out of a system, so
Mm.
they're never like buddies like us that. Oh, let's start a band and not succeed. None of that type of thing. They find people and put them together and make songs for them, and
Mm.
then they do the song. So
So it,
that's how they do it.
is it like Simon Cowell? There's a Korean Simon Cowell out there just like auditioning young men to see how
And
far they
women.
go.
We had the version, the New Zealand version was True Bliss.
We did.
Yeah, but I think it was back in the 90s where they just got different women with singing talent, put them together, had a band, and churned out some songs.
What was that? A Titanium as well, wasn't that the Edge?
Yes, yes.
The Edge put in a just earlier in 2010s. I mean, I didn't like the band, but the first time I went to visit Pakistan, I was missing New Zealand so much that I was just in tears when listening to the Titanium songs.
Oh my goodness,
So
mate. You know what?
yeah,
I actually I've got a bit of a story about that Kiwi band that you just talked about, and it was early 2000s, and I was in a bar in Parnell, and Parnell was more popular at that time in terms of nightlife, and there was these two ladies at the bar, and they looked really familiar, and I approached them and I told them that I loved their music and that I loved that they were
Oh,
True Bliss, and it turns out it was Sally Ridge and another girl she was hanging around with at the time who is married to Pete Evans now.
oh,
They were two.
right.
They were two socialites. They were two socialites in
Yeah.
the Auckland scene, and they were kind of famous for being famous. And they looked at me when I approached them in my highly honourable drunken state and said that I loved their music. They looked at me like I was a piece of shit on their crap. They're no shoe there, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
oh man.
Wow.
mm, mm.
True
What
shit.
type of what type of music you like, Hedda Dawson?
Well, I'm going to give K-pop a go. I'm going to put my NWA down because that's where real music came out, right? Came out of
Yeah,
the struggle
struggle.
Exactly, the 90s.
back in
The
the 90s, man.
90s. Back in the 90s. I mean, NWA, Macarena, same league.
Same, totally. Out of the struggle and
All the
the
struggles.
fight and the hate and the oppression. Dude,
Yeah,
Macarena.
that's yeah. Macarena meant fuck the police. That's what it meant. Yeah,
It wasn't as ballsy, but the message was true.
message was true. Message was true. I mean, I listened to. I've seen some documentaries around that time, and also the movie which came out recently
Mhm.
around NWA. What was the
Yeah.
name?
Straight out of
What's the name?
Compton.
Oh,
Straight Outta Compton. That's the name of the song as well. That was the name of the album as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great music coming out in the 90s. Anyway, now moving on from great music from the 90s and K-pop to some bullshit coming out of somebody's ass, right?
Yeah.
So now the whole of New Zealand was on edge for the past decade and had almost lost hope on the answer to the question, who will replace Brian Tamaki? Right? Right? That was the biggest question of the 2010s.
mhm.
And now we are in the new decade and we have the answer to that.
It was
We don't have to wait. We will now have someone bigger and worse than that. And his name is Billy T.K. Jr.
Mm,
Yeah, Billy Te Kahika, I think that's his name.
mhm.
That's the
Um,
man.
That's the man. He's the leader of the Advanced New Zealand Party, right?
Yeah.
Which is highly ironic name for a political party that promotes conspiracy theories and idiocracy, stupidity.
Stupidity,
All
fuckwittery,
the eateries.
fuckwittery.
All the fucking
All the,
eateries.
it's all the fucking eateries. It's amazing that he's one of our he's one of the leaders of the parties,
Mm.
and I'm sure. I mean, he has the right to do the political party, and he has right to say whatever he wants to say. But he's so wrong so many times.
Yeah.
But people don't question him at all because he's talking shit all the time,
Yeah.
and he's a lot of people are following him because he just goes through those conspiracy theories conspiracy theory ways of working,
Mm.
that he just captures the minds of people, and a lot of the people are just going at it.
Yeah.
Distrust of the establishment,
Mm.
distrust of the science, but when you listen and fact check everything that he says, he's wrong most of the times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
think,
totally agree. It's a pattern that you see that's been emulated by Trump.
yes.
Attack
Yes, indeed.
everything.
Yes, he
Attack
does. Yeah.
everything. Put everything on the kind of, is it real? Go and have a
Yeah.
look. And it's that
Yep.
pattern that he's brought to that Billy TK Jr. is sprouting, and it's really fucking things up.
And he
Yeah.
actually, I think we've all watched one of his videos where he actually quoted one of Trump's
Yeah.
tweets as like it was news. Like Trump is a fountain of knowledge, and he's like he's spouting off this tweet from Trump like it was the single source of the truth. And it's like, have you not realized he's got no credibility at all? He should not be quoting Trump for anything. Um,
Yeah.
it's, it's so bad.
And I mean, see, people don't see the way somebody's wrong. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of people who are
Mm.
conspiracy theorists. When the video Plandemic came out, I wrote down everything that was wrong in it, scientifically and factually. But
Mm.
people don't do that check. People just go with whatever is being said, in terms of just, oh, so he because he's just a contrarian. So if he's a contrarian of the general narrative,
Mm.
then he must be right because he's going against the grain. But
Yeah.
you have to, if you go against the grain, you got to be based on the truth
Mhm.
and actual evidence. You can't just say everything is a truth. And you can. So he was on The Nation and he was asked that, are you a conspiracy theorist? He said, I'm a critical thinker. Well, that's not a critical thinker does not mean that you think about criticizing everything. That's not a critical thinker. That's not a critical thinker. Critical thinker is the one who sees the narrative and sees what's wrong with it and then finds evidence to support it. And he has no evidence. He doesn't support. He didn't put that evidence in any of the interviews or any of the videos. One of the things he said, the government is going to force people to get
Mm.
vaccinated, right? He was completely wrong with that, because the government is not going to force everyone to get vaccinated. And even though he said that, oh, there's so many powers in that bill, it doesn't say about vaccination. He misquoted Megan Woods by editing
Yeah.
out her message about it. And when he was asked about, "Oh, you edited out," but then he just started playing. Oh, our main message is this. He didn't answer that question. So that's the problem with people like this, that they will seed the doubt, but then they will not support that seed. They will not. So they don't have evidence to support whatever they're saying.
I think it's easier to deal in fear and spreading
Mm.
fear than anything else. I think it's the most base human emotion that you can actually play on. It's the most. It's so simple to play on fear and get notoriety by, quote unquote, questioning things, just asking questions and being a critical thinker, which we all know is bullshit. But that's what he's doing. That's what Trump did. That's what he's doing as well. It's like what Heta talked about, that playbook of playing on those very basic emotions of fear. And I think it's gross. It's when I say gross, it's just absolutely disgusting. That's something.
It's poop. It's shit. It's poop.
Mm.
And so I mean, he's been. I mean, clearly he says things out of. Out of context. He said that Megan Wood said that, we might force people to get vaccinated, but he edited out the part when she said that before entering New Zealand, people who are
Yeah.
coming into New Zealand.
Mm.
So we're not ruling that out. So that's a very different thing as compared to what he's trying to peddle,
And,
right?
and he said, like, it came out of her mouth. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
didn't give it any context. You just
Yeah.
edited it,
yeah,
you did. And people,
yeah,
it's shit, it's poo, it's rubbish, and people are eating it.
They are.
And they're coming back for
yeah.
more. That is the unthinkable thing that's going on, is that he's talking to a group of people and he's feeding them and they're loving it.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
And then he went on. I mean, he was asked the question about does he think that Bill Gates is going to microchip all the children with vaccinations. He said that. Well, I didn't say that. I said that. Look at how he supports his contribution to all the vaccination drives. Well, the Simon Shepherd who was doing the interview said, "Okay, so you're saying that he supports vaccination? All right, that's fine, because that's 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 how they do it. I mean, they will say something in a certain way that will just be like, "Ooh, look at him! He's investing all this money in vaccination." And but truthfully, it's just, he's investing money in vaccination. He's done so much in Pakistan as well as in Africa
Yeah.
around getting people protected from so many diseases, and that's the proper thing that is there. And the um, the conspiracy around microchipping also came out of the lies that these people say all the time. There was no microchipping. There was one research that was funded by him in America, and that research was also not about microchipping. It was about a color dye that goes into the skin of someone, and that was supposed to be done in Africa, where you can't have records of people being vaccinated, so you can find out
Right.
by the light
Yeah.
in the skin to find out if they've been vaccinated or not. And they can't be tracked, they can't be followed around, they can't be followed around through satellite bullshit, etc. So people just take that stuff and then make their own stuff, and everybody then believes it. Nobody goes in and reads the original article. Nobody has read the original article that was written in or the research done by MIT. Nobody has done that.
You know why? Because the people that follow him have got a one standard thing they are, which is lazy. They don't want to read. They don't want to do extra. They say they're critical thinkers and so forth. Their critical thinking goes as far as watching some bullshit video that some crackpot has made up, and that's their research. And then they'll probably skim through it, go, "Oh, okay, here's a good part," and they won't actually question what they're viewing because they think what they're being shown in that video is the truth. So that itself lacks critical thinking.
Yeah, and it's quite hypocritical that you say that nobody's questioning Jacinda Ardern. Well, you are. So that's fine. And if you've seen the 1 p.m. news, the pressers, everybody is freaking questioning her all the time, and Bloomfield as well. Why did you do that? Are you going to apologize for this? Are you going to apologize for that? Are you going to do that? So they're doing it all the time. So this is just smoke screens when people say that nobody's questioning. And then you said you question that, and you don't question the video that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Without researching that.
Some crazy video on YouTube.
It's freaking insane. And I mean, I've gone through, I've written down all these things, and I've talked to friends about it as well. There were people in the past, in the previous lockdown as well, saying this shit. They were completely wrong. And then they come on board with like some time, and then they just go away. There's a British guy as well. He says so many wrong things all the time, but nobody goes into the evidence of what he's saying, and they just believe them.
We got to be real careful about Gates, right? I'm just putting this out there, but this is what I heard. He's got a really big switch on his wall, and if we fuck him off, he's going to turn all of Windows off. That's what I heard. Boom, it's gone. Everything's gone. Windows. That's it, everybody. No more computers here.
No more computers. We can't piss Bill Gates off.
I'm sick of your shit. I'm turning it off.
My first professional job was working on the help desk of Microsoft in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I got to tell you, based on what I've seen of, Microsoft and Windows and that kind of stuff, there is no way there's a global conspiracy organized by Bill Gates. I mean, he's a very smart man, but Windows in the late 90s, early 2000s, there is no basis to any of that stuff.
Yeah, also, why would you need to do a conspiracy thing when you're just making money with the basic operating system? Why would you have to do all that other shit?
Exactly.
I'm going to chip every human. We're chipped already. If people don't know this already, it's called a phone. The fucking internet, and every time we log on and do something, they know exactly what's going on. And I'm okay with that. I'm chipped, all right? So give me my back thing so I can get back to normal life.
I love what these people are like complaining about Bill Gates, and they're going on about Jacinda and Bill Gates and blah blah, and they're on Facebook doing it. They don't realize that Facebook is a data company.
Oh shit! Not this shit again.
Oh yeah, but Facebook is a data company, and that's collecting every opinion you've got, everything you do, and it's well known that Facebook app actually does have interaction with the microphone on your phone as well. So these people have got the crackpot ideas about Bill Gates, and you're like not even looking at the very platform
Yeah,
that they're the silly ideas on.
bombies.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I know. I mean, I think we just treat these people with some. Um, I don't know, with the just. Well, I usually just say that what can actually change your mind around this, because when you put evidence out there, they would say, "Oh no, look at this blog."
Yeah,
So it's weird. I mean, with Billy TK, you will see he said a lot of bullshit. He calls COVID-19 a pandemic, and in the interview he was saying that, look, Anthony Fauci was saying that we would should expect a virus outbreak. Well, obviously everybody has been saying it for years that we should be waiting for another pandemic if we don't prepare for ourselves, and it happens. So that's what they did. They went with some incidental thing that, look at that, he said it, so he must have planned it.
It's his fault. He did it. He did this.
He did it. He did. Everybody says that, and then he talks about. I gotta say that I think it might be boring, but I gotta say this.
Oh.
He talks about the lethality. He keeps saying this lethality. Look at that. Look at that. WHO said it was 3 to 6%, but now it's like 0.5 to 2.5 or some percent. Look at that. They have to rescind what they are saying, but. But this is not how science works. Something starts, you start investigating, you have the initial rate of death, then you have a lesser proper rate of death as time passes, and the more it's controlled, the lesser rate of death it is. So New Zealand has a very low death lethality rate in terms of case fatalities as compared to other countries. So he would just anything he would say is not based on science, and what regular people would hear this and say, oh my god, WHO is trying to kill us. And I know the WHO has problems, but not everybody is trying to kill everyone to rule over the world. And they've been saying this thing for years and years, and none of that world ruling thing has happened since Hitler. He tried to rule the world and shit got weird, and and none of that is happening now.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I agree. And I think if the controls that we've been putting in place to try and stop the spread or smooth out that curve worldwide weren't there, then the death rate would obviously be exponentially higher. And they're playing on that. As you said, they're playing on that to say, oh, it's not as bad as what they said. And it's like, well, you idiots. Obviously, it's because people are wearing masks and they're staying home and not doing the stuff they're doing before.
Yeah,
it frustrates the hell out of me. It does.
Yeah, in the previous one as well. I was look. They were saying, look, where are the dying people? Where are the dying, motherfucker? We are in level 4 lockdown. That's why not people are not dying on the streets.
Yeah.
That's the main reason. We did something to stop it, so that's why it is not happening.
And then I remember there's people in the States who were thinking it was a hoax. Then they get it, and they get really strict, and they're like, oh, actually, we got to take this seriously now because it's really bad.
It's like, fucking karma, right? That is karma.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. I go to some party, I get it, and die. And just before I die, I say, I wish I had listened. That's karma.
Darwin theory right there.
Yeah. But I guess, I mean, people around us will always be listening to this stuff and believing this stuff. And it's up to us to talk to them nicely and explain things to them. And if they don't understand, just tell them that, motherfucker, you're stupid.
I've changed tack. I've changed tack with these guys. I've put through arguments and all that sort of thing. And I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just going to encourage them.
Yeah. One thing that works, you're completely right. One thing that works, you just acknowledge.
Yeah.
And then you just ask them questions about their own belief. It's a trick. It's not a trick. I mean, it's a way of arguing with someone or questioning someone that you don't put out facts to them. You just say, why do you believe that? And what would it take to change your belief?
Oh, I don't do that.
So
I don't do
So,
that. I say, sing it, brother. Get out there. Start fucking protesting. Forget
Tell
about
you what.
get on that train. I catch a train at 7:40. Get on that train and start protesting, bro. Stand up for your rights. You're speaking
I'm
the truth.
gonna ask you a question. Once all this is all blown over, which I don't know how long it's going to be, no one really knows. Are these people going to look really silly? They're just going to be like, "Oh shit."
They won't give a fuck. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, fair. They don't give a fuck. They'll just be like, "Yeah, I was right. I was right. It's a cover up. It's a cover up."
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody always finds a way to put doubt in these things. So that's why you have to be very patient talking to people or family friends around this.
Yeah.
I mean, you got. I usually just do this thing, which is kind of called the street epistemology.
Hmm?
So if somebody says that, for instance, they said they believe in God, and I said, okay, why do you believe in God? And they will say, because I feel like it. And they say, what would make you change your mind? And then you just talk to them, ask them questions, and then in the end they will come to their own conclusion. But that requires patience, which we don't have as comedians.
Asking
No.
questions is a way of establishing, like what you just talked about, is a way of establishing true critical thinking,
Yeah.
which is good, as opposed to watching a fucking YouTube video. But anyway, I mean, you're much more patient than I am, mate. I can tell you that right now.
I believe the
Yeah,
word's
well.
called the 5 whys. Anyway,
The 5 whys. Oh, mate, the 5 whys are great because that gets to the root cause of any situation.
Mm.
Just ask for why 5 times, and that works so good.
just
Why?
just say why 5 times. Why? Like a child. Why? Why?
Yeah, that
It
works.
is like that. It is like that.
Yeah,
That is really good. Just go, why?
it really does work.
Question for you guys.
Hmm.
If there was to be a physical punch-up between Billy TK
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
And me, yes, I would win. Go ahead.
No. and Brian Tamaki,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
A punch up.
yeah, a fist fight between those two guys, who would win?
Oh, most definitely it would be Brian Tamaki.
He's got my weight behind him, eh?
Yeah, he's got
He's good and
the
fat.
weight.
Yes, he is fat.
He's he's got the weight, he's got the church, he's got that leather jackets. Those leather jackets, like the movie Grease. He would come into the room clicking his fingers. Right? And he's gonna just kick some ass, Grease style, like John Travolta.
I bet he does deadlifts, I'm sure of it. He does deadlifts, so he's strong, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he just plays dead and drinks a lot of lift drink. So
Got on the side. That's why he's going to win.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's the main reason, and
It's
that's the main reason that he's so successful with everything.
Yeah. What
But I
is Billy TK is actually, I watched one video as we have together, like we've shared it and had a look at it and had a bit of a giggle. The guy is charismatic, but he's just so badly wrong in so many
Yeah.
ways. I would just wish that he would use that sort of natural charisma for something good. Something that
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. Like the Force.
the
He's
force.
good.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's always, we make fun of these people because we are comedians. So essentially, we make fun of everyone anyway. But generally, when you're talking to them, if you kind of make fun of them, then it kind of puts in a wall, and then they don't listen to you. So it's always good to listen. But if it goes out of hand, you got to stop that conversation and say, listen, man, this is dangerous, because sometimes it is quite dangerous, these kind of ideas.
100%, man. Yeah, there's so many dangerous ideas that they're talking about. It's like, oh.
I mean, he had this idea. I mean, people will listen to this shit. He had this idea that somebody from across the board had crossed the border to come in and assassinate him. Right? He had that shit in his thing. And I'm thinking, who would want to assassinate
him.
you? I mean, there's not a lot of assassinations happening generally anyway. There's one dude in Russia. Well, you can say that, okay, that's a valid reason to assassinate. If you're a dictator, you've got a valid opposition, and well, you got to assassinate, right?
Yeah.
So, but for what reason somebody is going to come from abroad to come and assassinate Billy T.K. Jr.?
And he was saying it was the CIA that was doing it, and
Yeah.
it's under the Trump administration, and he's very clearly a Trump supporter. So why would the CIA be trying to assassinate him if he's a Trump supporter? Just saying, just saying. It just doesn't quite make sense.
His tinfoil hat is on too tight. That's what the problem is.
He's been trying to be assassinated because he's a dumbass. They're just like, you're too dumb. You are.
Billy Te Jr., you're a dick.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I am dumbfounded by that whole thing. He's obviously enjoying the fame that he's got because he has been on stage a bit, he's a blues guitarist and so forth, and has had some success with that. But I think with the stuff he's talking about now, it's really kind of launched him into awareness in New Zealand society. And I think he's kind of, I hate to say it, drunk on that. He's like, wow, that video had 20,000 views and I've had 1,000 likes. Oh my God, this is amazing. And, he'll just get more outlandish, I think.
And the new conservative party, they'll be like, fuck, we thought we were bad. Look at this shit.
He's our Trump. When I kind of think about it, he is our Trump, and that makes him really dangerous. If you think, because if you think about, it's still kind of, it just feels 50-50 that Trump could actually come back into power.
If he was white, he would be like 100 times more dangerous because he's brown, right? I think a lot of white people are saying, who this motherfucker, right? Fuck him. Right?
That's not saving race. He's brown.
I think the racism is kind of saving us at the moment.
To be honest, I kind of agree with you because a lot of the conspiracy theory shit is right wing, which is obviously a lot of white supremacy stuff going on.
That's the white man's domain. But
this guy's an anomaly with that stuff. So people who are really into that stuff are like, shit. I don't like the look of this guy, but
could this be the only time we go, thanks, racism?
Quite possible.
For that one person.
Thanks, institutionalized racism. Thank you. But do you think Trump's going to win?
Should I hope not?
Well, it seems weird with the things that have been happening. I mean, 3 months ago, I was like, before pandemic, I was thinking yes, but I think shit is kind of losing it a tiny bit.
I think the news we're seeing about all these protests that are occurring, quite rightly, that are going on over there, do paint a picture of a lot of civil unrest that he has really not stepped up to quell it, to try and promote unity and calm people down and that kind of stuff. It's been going on for about the last 18 months. He's just kind of always on the fringes, like, sort of sending these mixed messages to his sort of base, who, let's face it, are racist people.
Well, what are you talking about? What protest? Everything is great.
Everything's great.
He's planting seeds and throwing doubt that in the election by telling his supporters to vote twice. Vote in person and then send in your posted ballot. He is a motherfucker, that guy.
Yeah, and he's also planting that doubt that if he does lose, don't believe it because it was rigged.
Yeah. It was rigged against me. Yes, I agree with that. It's crazy who's done that. And he is a despicable human being in terms of the way he just tries to use everything to his advantage. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's not... Well, I think what he's done is he's really devalued the way people view the American president. I mean, Clinton obviously had the Monica Lewinsky thing, and I think secretly some people were like, yeah, go that guy.
Good press.
But there has been a few instances where presidents have behaved badly, but I think no one's behaved consistently badly like him, where people go, shit, I think anyone could be the president, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh man! But we'll delve into it because the American presidential elections are coming soon in a couple of months' time. Our own election is coming next month, which is great. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll international listeners will delve into some New Zealand elections as well, which is a lot funnier and different from the American style of working. We have we have a lot of funny shit that happens in New Zealand, and people get crazy about very very small things. So it would be a fun time.
Like, remember that guy who had the adult toy thrown in his face on national TV?
Mm.
Oh, Stephen Joyce.
Stephen Joyce got accosted with a big pink rubber or latex dildo. That was crazy.
It's great, Paul.
That was great. He got hit. Somebody threw a dildo on him, and then then the police just took the lady outside and said, "All right, you can go." So,
Here's your dildo. Thanks for coming.
thanks for coming. Thanks for participating. It's Waitangi Day. Everybody participates. It's great. So it was. I mean, somebody threw shit on Don Brash.
Mm.
Do you remember somebody
Oh,
a few years back?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody shoot some manure on Don Brash as well. So yeah, we kind of like throwing shit at people, but non-dangerous stuff. I mean, there will be a dildo or shit and some or a banana milkshake, something like that.
Before I was born, there's a prime minister. I forget his name now. You might remember Heta.
Michael Savage.
No,
Was it?
no. He did the big stuff. Muldoon.
Muldoon.
He was a motherfucker, but he did one thing on national TV. He punched somebody. He actually punched a reporter on national TV. If you look it up, and there's a reporter going, "He punched me."
All right, I'll find out. I mean, it would be great to see. I mean, I really like the way he spoke. He was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
yeah."
He was wasted half the time. He was wasted.
Yeah, he was wasted half the time anyway. Boys, it's coming to 1 hour. It's been a great chat. So we've had some fun with the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, Billy TK Jr. mask update, of course, and yeah, it has been great. Some history. Well, what do you think? How did it go?
I've been excited. Been very excited by this conversation. I'm sitting here in
Jesus
my new office chair, naked, talking to you guys. I've been excited the whole time. It's good.
Mhm. Now drop it low and let me see your hips. Sweet.
And we should end it on that. Thank you for that, Ed.
Thank you, everyone.
Do it again.
All right. Down to the floor. Now let me do the hips. Sweet.
It's wonderful. So good.
So that's some Indian accent savage. Fantastic. So what I'll do is that, yes, everybody please email us at baboonyodel at gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well, where the podcast is on YouTube as well. You can listen to that over there. And yeah, Baboon Yodel, easy to find. Baboon Yodel. All right. So you guys can say goodbye and do your plugs or whatever you want to do, some shit.
See everybody. See you next time. Really enjoyed it. Bye.
That's glorious. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Sweet.